first we are going to make a chain. For the chain we need beads. The beads are in size of 8 mm, and we are using spacer, and the spacer are 6 mm. To make the chain, what else we need is a beading wire. What I am using here is soft flex beading wire. It's medium, and I have taken here 22 inches in the length. Then I have added one chain extender on a lobster clasp, and I have a 2 crimp tube, then crimp cover, 2 of them, and 1 jump ring. So now to start, let's first add the beads. So I'm going to alter the beads with bead and a spacer. So let's do that first. So this will be like this. So first bead, then a spacer, then bead, spacer. So start with bead, so end with a bead. Okay, so we'll do that. So I have taken and completed the beading, and the length is 8 inches on each side. This is 0, starting from 0, this side is 8 inches and this side is 8 inches. So that will be almost of 19 centimeter each side. Look, this is 19 centimeter and here 19 centimeter. In the first one end, we will add this crimp tube to one side, then a lobster clasp. After doing that, what we have to do is we have to insert this tube back into the crimp tube, this wire back into the crimp tube. Then we will pull this close, the lobster clasp. So maybe to this length, you see this length where the lobster clasp can move freely and there is no much gap. So at this point, what we do is we have to press this crimp tube. So we are using this crimper. You see in this crimper there is, in one side there is 2 holes. In the bottom one you have another one which is bulging over there, so the wire has to be in between those. So when we are going to do the crimp, take this wire and keep it in between the second one and press it hard. You see the second one? So keep it in second one and press. So when you see that the wire got pressed, the crimp tube got pressed in the middle. So after this is done, turn it around the other side in 90 degrees and keep it in between the first hole and press this. So now this becomes very flat. Do you see that? this become very flat. So when this side is done, so what we can do is the remaining wire which is coming out, we can insert it between the beads. So that is covered completely. So we are going to the other side. So other side, what we are going to do is we are going to add an extender wire. So in that first we add our jump ring, flat nose plier, so now this is completely closed, so it will not come out of the wire. So I am first inserting the crimp tube inside, then the extender with the chain with the jump ring. So I'll take the jump ring and put it inside this wire and turn this back and insert it back into the crimp wire. Okay, so then I'll pull this one very close to the bead. Okay. Now this is very close to the bead, you see. So I have left this a little space so this jump ring can move freely. So right now we are going to do the same thing what we have done the other side. So we are going to get this and we are going to keep in the second dip. Do you have, there are two, one side there are two. In that I'm going to leave the first one, I'm going to take the second one which is inside. So I'm going to put this here in the second one and I'm going to press this. So when you see that, it might have a dip in here. So then I turn a right side in 90 degree and then press back. So it becomes flat. So this is done. So both sides are done. So I'm going to cut this remaining wire. Before that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert this back into at least two beads, and then I can cut it off. Take it in one bead itself. Okay, so after this I'm going to trim off. So this is done. So when this is done, one more thing we have to do is we have to put a crimp cover. So you can able to see this crimp tube. So we are going to cover this one. So we put this one inside. So do you see this? Here it's open. The tube is open, right? So I'm going to take this flat nose plier. I'm going to press. Make this, it looks like a bead after it's covered. So same thing we are going to do the other side too. Take this cover and put it on top of the cream tube. And take the flat nose plier and press it. So press it hard so it looks like a bead. So we have made this chain. So we are going to make right now a earring. So to make one earring you need 2 beads, which is 8 mm, and one spacer, which is 6 mm, and a ear wire and a headpin. So to do that, first take the headpin and add a bead, then the spacer, and then a bead. So after this we have to make a loop. To make a loop you need nose plier, and I'm going to rotate this back over here. So now you see I have made a loop here. After that I'm going to take this ear wire and I'm going to open this. You push this one a little bit and it opens. So insert my earring which I made, then close it back. We can do that with our flat nose plier. Okay, so this is done. So now the earring is done, the chain is done. So next what we are going to do is a bracelet. To make a bracelet we need an elastic. I have taken 0.8 mm elastic. That is, I have taken here 8 inches. Then what we need is cement. This is optional. So I have used GS Hypo cement. So this is to finally bond the knot. Other thing what I need is 8 mm beads, spacer. This is 6 mm spacer, this is 4 mm spacer, and 2 noodle tube. So let's start. I'll first add the noodle tube, then the small spacer. Why I have kept the small spacer is when I had this noodle tube with the big spacer, then it starts going inside. So in that case I have in the corner I have used the small spacer so that the noodles tube doesn't go inside. So let's put this noodle tube, spacer, then beads, then a bead, then another spacer, the big one. So we are going to do 6 beads on each side. So this side I have done 6 beads and I'm going to end with the small space. Then the noodle tube, then again the small spacer. Then I'm going to do the same over what I have done over here. And finally I'll add the spacer. Then I'm going to tie a knot. Here single knot. Then again I'm going to tie. This time we'll have double knot. I'm going to make a loop. I'm going to insert one time, then another time. I'm going to do like this 2 knots. Going to pull this very close to each one. I'm going to pull it as much as I can. After this is done, I'm going to take my cement. I'm going to put that over here and then close this. Let it dry. So that will dry. I can trim off the remaining plastic wire. So this is done. So I have already made one like that. The size which I have used over here is this 14 centimeter. So I have used 14 centimeter. So for that I need 6 bead on each side. If suppose we are going to do more, in that case we can add another bead and a spacer over here, another bead and spacer over here, and according to our size we can make it much bigger. Next we are going to make a ring. I have made a ring already. So in same way we are going to make a ring. So this set I bought it in Michael's. So I took one of those and made a ring. So in the same way I can take this one, and I don't want this. I can take this one and take a ring, make a ring. So to make a ring you need a ring base and ring, and then what we need will be E6000. So this is a glue we can use. It's a permanent glue. So I take this glue and I can take this base. I'm going to take a little glue on the top of this like this. I'm going to stick it over here. And let this dry for, I leave this to dry for almost 24 hours. So when we after dry, this will be hardened like this and we can use it. So we have made a chain, a bracelet, earring and a ring.